and broadcast media. I'm Lieutenant Will Reiber. On August 2nd, 2017, I authored a press release documenting an incident of criminal misconduct, specifically that of tampering with drug evidence that occurred and was allegedly committed by a veteran member of our police department. I explained to members of the media then that as soon as details were provided and we were allowed, we would bring all the information that we could to light. Today, Daniel Gosnell has been identified as the lieutenant who was under and still is under investigation. I would like to thank the members of the community and media members for your patience while this investigation has unfolded. Now I'd like to take this time to introduce Chief Henry Trabert.
Thank you. Good afternoon. On August 2nd, 2018, I initiated an investigation regarding possible drug tampering by Mr. Gosnell. Gosnell's police powers were immediately suspended at that time. I requested the assistance of the Maryland State Police to conduct a criminal and administrative investigation to protect the integrity of the department and to provide a fair and impartial investigation. This investigation began without delay. After an extensive audit of our CDS room by detectives, it was determined that 235 evidence submissions were missing or tampered with. This included both closed and active cases. These CDS evidence submissions have been itemized and forwarded to the Harford County State's Attorney's Office for review. Gosnell is accused of repeatedly stealing oxycontin, oxycodone, heroin, fentanyl, and cocaine. Today, 98 days after I received the initial complaint, Gosnell has been charged with misconduct in office and possession of a controlled dangerous substance. Those charges were brought forth by the Office of the State Prosecutor. It is important to note that this investigation was initiated by the Aberdeen Police Department. As soon as we received information of misconduct, our investigation began. Gosnell's position as a commander in the department gave him access that made his alleged misconduct harder to detect. Since then, I have instituted a complete overhaul of practices and procedures that will provide stricter access to evidence and a more robust drug testing program for all employees. No other member of the department is accused of any criminal misconduct. The investigation at this time shows that Gosnell acted alone. Investigators determined that the drug thefts in this case revolved around the prescription drug box and the CDS evidence vault. There was no planting of evidence found during this investigation. And I want to make that clear because there was some discussion in the public that they thought there may be some planting of evidence. That is not true. There was no evidence to show that Gosnell planted any evidence for any criminal case. I just want to thank the Maryland State Police, the Harford County State's Attorney's Office, and the Office of the State Prosecutor for all their assistance in conducting this investigation. This investigation has tested the strength of my organization. As the Chief of Police, it is my obligation to be truthful and transparent with our community, even when the alleged misconduct has been committed by one of our own. The charges filed today have fulfilled my oath to uphold the laws of the state of Maryland and to ensure that a fair and impartial investigation is conducted, no matter who the alleged offender is. I want to thank you very much for coming out. I know it's a little chilly out here today, and I appreciate your time and patience.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, this is a statement from Chief Henry Trabert. I can briefly go over any questions that you have regarding this. The Chief won't be taking any questions at this time.
Lieutenant, at what point were you all aware that this was happening? Obviously, we have the timeline as to when you guys think that it all started, but what tipped you off?
The genesis of this investigation, the kickoff point was August 2nd. And that's when that information was immediately brought forth and the investigation was put into play, where there was alleged tampering within our prescription box and evidence room.
Is Lieutenant Gosnell, is he still employed with the Aberdeen Police Department?
Currently, there is an administrative investigation that's paralleling the criminal investigation. So at this time, he still is employed with the department.
And is he still earning salary?
At this time, he is.
As far as the Chief made a point of talking about just new, stricter policies, do you feel comfortable going into detail as to what changes now so that something like this doesn't happen again?
Well, I can just state specifically that it's a much more robust policy. The amount of urinalysis and drug testing that's taken place has increased exponentially from the original template that the city followed under. It's a specific policy that's enhanced the police department's ability to track and test officers in the department to ensure that all of our members of the department are drug-free and alcohol-free.
And as far as you know, do you know if he was taking these drugs to do something else with them, or was it for his own personal consumption?
I have no idea as far as that's concerned.
Are you able to speak about how you were able to figure out it was him? Because you mentioned there were some difficulties based on his rank. Can you speak on that?
I can just tell you that there was an allegation expressed to us that came internally from within, alleging this misconduct. It was quickly acted on, and as a result of those actions, we were able to make the determination that misconduct was afoot, and that we followed the timeline of action that we've already discussed with you today over those 98 days or so. Well, it's over. What we're looking at is over a protracted period of time. It's alleged that Mr. Gosnell removed medications and illegal narcotics from not only the prescription drop box but our drug evidence vault. This occurred over a timeline during that period when it was brought to our agency's attention. Action was swift and immediate. The Maryland State Police was called in, and a criminal investigation ensued. They also are responsible for conducting the administrative investigation that is still ongoing, and that will be looking into all other elements that are associated with this incident. So it's not just strictly the criminal aspect, we're also looking at all the internal administrative processes as well.
Did you say the state police is doing the internal investigation?
Yes, and in the spirit of transparency, we wanted the public to feel ensured that there would be an impartial and fair investigation, and that going outside of the Aberdeen Police Department was the only way that the public would truly feel that there was a fair and impartial investigation. And the chief specifically, at his directive, that was his orders.
Something that I meant to ask, do you all do inventory from the drop box periodically or daily, or how does that work? How would you know somebody took something from there that didn't?
I can't go into all the specifics about the inventory process. There is policies in place, and we have looked extensively at those policies. And and like anything else, when in times of like this, you're challenged to evaluate and reevaluate how those processes work.
And is there anything, if members of the public want to come out and drop off medication, is there anything they should be aware of? You know, like any new procedures or
No.
can they just go drop off their
We encourage members of our citizenry to come to the station, drop off any unwanted prescription medications. Let's drop them off here instead of flushing them down the toilet, putting them out into the bay. We're fully operational, and as far as that's concerned, we seize over 20 to 30 pounds of prescription medications a month. We don't want that. We're not going to stop as a matter of this event from doing something that's very meaningful and that we believe gives the citizens a proper place for disposal.
You probably covered this earlier, but was his job to oversee this box, or how did he get access to it?
I'm not going to go into his specific job personnel, all of his positions and titles, but he was in a position where, obviously as a lieutenant, as a commander in the agency, he had greater access to things than most.
You said this alone fit the act alone, yeah.
It's everything that's been brought forth to us by members of the investigative team is that no other members of the department have been compromised. This is an incident where a member of our department acted alone.
And how long does he work with the Aberdeen Police?
He was employed approximately 18 years.
He was a lieutenant, is that right?
Yes.
Over what area? What division?
At the time of his suspension, he was in charge of our patrol operations division.
There's no indication that it was beyond this officer and he's still other cases.
No, all the investigations, like I said initially, what's been relayed to us through investigators, through our partners, is that all the evidence and prescription medication that were abused occurred here, and it was an inside event. All right, at this time I'll conclude. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and those that made this information available to all. Thank